You are really, really, really acting throughout the entire movie.
That's what well, hopefully, yeah. That's what I tried to do.
Did it feel more like labor intensive?
No, I mean, the first movie was all about, like, thrusting yourself into something and being impulsive, and it was all about discovery and, like, first love and abandon. Everything that we established in the first movie, we come in and say that your main character was just wrong. And so that's basically how I start off the movie. I mean, as New Moon begins, she knows that she's going to get broken up with, and so it's this natural progression of seeing a girl who you saw be so confident in herself about something so daring and new to her, now actually get to know herself in a way that you can say, like, okay, well, these big decisions that she's making, maybe she's smart enough and in a position in her life to make them.
All that stuff, especially with you, like, in the bed, screaming and crying and whatever, pretty powerful stuff.
Yeah, it was hard to do because I had to go back and forth from being pulled out of that, like, deep depression. Within a day, I'd have to go back and forth from doing a scene with and without Jacob. So I would have to be dead zombie Bella, who's just absolutely destroyed, to waking up again. That was also another really strenuous thing, was going back and forth between the two, like, within a day.
You've said in the past that you're Team Jacob. Is that because of New Moon? Do you think that Bella makes, like, the wrong choice at the end of the day?
No, I think the whole point of this story is that there isn't a wrong choice. I go back and forth from being Team Edward and Team Jacob all the time because that's sort of, I mean, that's the story. The story wouldn't exist if there wasn't, like, a genuine argument for why she should be with both sides. On paper, I think Jacob's probably better for her. There's ease. He's her best friend. She's always smiling around him. She's safe with him. But there's just something about Edward. It's just that sort of indescribable thing that she can't live without. And I think, put in that position, I would have to go with Edward, because I really appreciate following, like, your gut instinct, even though it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
What in your mind is going to kind of shock the fans the most? I mean, millions of people saw Twilight, but they might not be ready for New Moon, you know?
I think the most shocking thing for me is the absence of Edward and the fact that it's still a movie on its own. I mean, I always thought that the only way I could play my part in Twilight was if I was so completely behind Bella's confidence in the fact that she knows that this is what she wants. And so as soon as that's taken away, it's not Twilight anymore. It's like, all of a sudden you think for a minute that there's another story in this world that Stephenie Meyer's created, and it's totally with the werewolves, and you totally believe Bella's love for Jacob and whatever, and then just as soon as you're convinced of that, Edward gets back into the picture. It's like the most tortured love triangle, and it was really hard to play, and thus, hopefully, like, it comes across.